Deep in the rivers of South America, something moves through the water that no predator dares follow. It does not have claws. It does not have venom, but it carries enough electricity inside its body to knock a horse off its feet. This is the electric eel. And the question scientists argued about for decades is this: how does a living creature generate more voltage than a wall socket, survive its own electricity, and use it not just to kill, but to think? Before we go further, let us clear something up. The electric eel is not an eel, it is a knife fish. More closely related to catfish and carp than to the true eels you find in ocean water. It just looks like an eel because evolution shaped it that way. Long, smooth, built for slow-moving, oxygen-poor rivers where a wide, flat body would only get in the way. And here is something strange. The electric eel breathes air. It has to surface every few minutes to gulp oxygen directly because the water it lives in is so dark and stagnant that gills alone cannot do the job. It is a fish that breathes like a mammal in water that would suffocate almost anything else. And that is just the beginning of how unusual this animal is. About 80% of the electric eel's body is tail, and inside that tail are 3 specialized electric organs that take up almost the entire length of its body. These organs are built from thousands of stacked cells called electrocytes. Think of them like tiny biological batteries, each one storing a small charge. Alone, each cell produces almost nothing. But stacked in sequence, thousands of them firing together in a single millisecond, they add up. The result is a discharge of up to 860 volts. To put that in perspective, a standard wall outlet runs at 110 to 240 volts, depending on where you live. The electric eel more than doubles that, in a single pulse. And it can do it again, and again, dozens of times without stopping. For a long time, scientists believed there was only one species of electric eel. They were wrong. In 2019, researchers studying electric eels across different river systems in South America made a surprising discovery. What everyone had been calling one species was actually 3 distinct ones: Electrophorus electricus, Electrophorus varii, and Electrophorus voltae, the one found at higher elevations, in faster, cleaner water, and the one that produces the highest voltage of any known living animal. The environment matters. Cleaner water conducts electricity less efficiently, so the eels living in it evolved to produce more voltage, just to compensate. Evolution solving a physics problem. 3 animals hiding under one name for over 200 years. Which raises a question: what else are we getting wrong about this creature? The electric eel does not simply swim at something and shock it. It is far more precise than that. When it detects prey nearby, it curls its body into a shape that concentrates the electric field directly around the target. It essentially wraps the discharge around the animal it wants to kill. That curl can double the intensity of the electric field hitting the prey. It is not brute force, it is geometry. The shock does not always kill, often it just paralyzes. The prey's muscles fire all at once, completely uncontrolled, and the animal goes rigid for a fraction of a second. That is enough. The eel moves in and swallows it whole. But researchers discovered something even more remarkable. Before that curling attack, the electric eel sometimes sends out a low-voltage pulse first, a kind of remote control signal that causes hidden prey to twitch involuntarily, giving away their position. It is using electricity the way a predator uses sound or scent. To sense, to locate, to flush prey out of hiding before the strike even begins. For most of its life, the electric eel prefers slow, deep water, but in the dry season, rivers shrink. And sometimes a large animal, a horse, a cow, a human, wades through water where the eels are crowded and cornered. What happens next was described by the explorer Alexander von Humboldt in 1800, and most scientists assumed he had exaggerated it. He described electric eels leaping out of the water to attack the undersides of horses. No one believed him for over 200 years. Then, in 2016, a researcher named Kenneth Catania proved it was real. When a threat enters the water, some electric eels do not flee. They rise up out of the water along the threat's body, pressing their chin directly against it, and deliver a shock at the highest possible voltage with almost zero distance to travel. The closer the contact, the stronger the delivered shock. By leaping and pressing against a wading animal, the eel maximizes the current flowing directly into the target. Von Humboldt was right. It just took 200 years for science to catch up. Here is the question that should bother you. If this animal can produce 860 volts, enough to stun a horse, why does it not electrocute itself? The honest answer is that we do not fully understand it yet. What we do know is that the electric organs are insulated by surrounding fat and connective tissue in a way that channels the current outward rather than inward. The vital organs, the heart, the brain, sit in a narrow strip at the front of the body, far from the most powerful discharges. The geometry of the body itself acts as a kind of shield. There is also evidence that the nervous system itself has adapted to be resistant to electrical interference. The signals that control the eel's own muscles are, in some way, we are still studying, protected from the pulses that would freeze any other animal solid. It fires enough electricity to stop a heart, and its own keeps beating. So, back to the question we started with, how does a living creature generate more voltage than a wall socket, survive its own electricity, and use it not just to kill, but to think? The answer is that it does not just generate electricity. It has become electricity. Its muscles have been repurposed, its nerves have been rewired, its hunting strategy, its senses, its defense. Every part of this animal runs on the same system. It does not shock because it is dangerous. It shocks because that is what it is, at every level of its biology, from the inside out. And somewhere in those dark, oxygen-starved rivers right now, something is sending out a quiet, low-voltage pulse, sensing the water around it, waiting for something to move. If you want to see more of the Amazon's most extreme animals, the ones that have been rewriting what we thought we knew about nature, subscribe. There is a lot more coming. And next time, we are looking at an animal that has survived 5 mass extinctions, can live without its head for days, and carries one of the most chemically complex weapons on Earth. You already know what it is. You just do not know the half of it.